The global order is shifting, as new alliances and power centers emerge on the world stage, challenging the dominance of traditional Western institutions. At the center of this transformation is the BRICS bloc, once just an acronym coined by economists, now a major force shaping international relations and economic policy. Originally formed by Brazil, Russia, India, and China, with South Africa joining in 2010, BRICS began as a coalition of emerging economies seeking a greater voice in global affairs. In recent years, BRICS has expanded to include Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, the UAE, and soon Indonesia, reflecting its growing appeal and influence across continents. Together, these nations represent nearly half the world's population, and over a third of global GDP, making BRICS a formidable economic and demographic powerhouse. With control over vital resources, such as energy, minerals, and agricultural products, and the creation of new financial institutions like the New Development Bank, BRICS is reshaping the global economic landscape. The bloc is actively building an alternative to Western-dominated systems, offering new models for development, trade, and cooperation that challenge the status quo. For many in the global South, BRICS offers a platform to amplify their voices, pursue their interests free from Western conditionalities, and foster South-South cooperation. The bloc's expansion signals a new coalition ready to challenge established global norms, and to advocate for a more multipolar world order. This shift is prompting nations worldwide to reconsider their alignments, strategies, and alliances in a rapidly changing geopolitical environment. Perhaps the most surprising development is Turkey, a NATO member and longtime EU candidate, expressing interest in joining BRICS, a move that has caught many observers off guard. This unexpected overture is shaking up expectations within the Western alliance, raising questions about the future of traditional partnerships. Turkey's interest, though currently stalled, highlights the powerful pull of BRICS and the shifting priorities of countries seeking greater autonomy and influence. It also underscores the willingness of nations to seek new partnerships beyond old allegiances, as they navigate an increasingly complex world. This sets the stage for a deeper look at Turkey's ambitions, its strategic calculations, and the broader implications for global power dynamics. As the global landscape continues to evolve, the story of BRICS and its expanding influence is far from over. Turkey's growing interest in BRICS was not a sudden shift, but rather the culmination of years of mounting frustration with the West. The most glaring example was the stalled EU accession process, which left many in Ankara feeling excluded and disillusioned. Despite decades of negotiations and reforms, Turkey's path to EU membership seemed perpetually blocked, fueling a sense of alienation and disappointment among Turkish leaders and the public alike. Feeling increasingly sidelined, Ankara began to pursue what it called strategic autonomy. This meant actively diversifying its alliances and partnerships, aiming to avoid dependence on any single bloc or power center. Turkish officials started to look beyond traditional Western partners, seeking new opportunities and relationships in the East. BRICS, with its rapidly growing economies and expanding influence, offered Turkey access to vast new markets, fresh investment opportunities, and a platform to boost its international stature. For Turkish businesses and policymakers, this was a chance to tap into dynamic economies and reduce reliance on Western financial systems. The bloc's emphasis on national sovereignty and non-interference in domestic affairs strongly resonated with Turkish leaders. Over the years, Ankara had often clashed with the West over issues like human rights and internal politics, so BRICS' approach felt like a better fit for Turkey's priorities and sensitivities. For Turkey, joining BRICS was more than just economic strategy. It was a way to move from the periphery of Western alliances to the center of a rising global coalition. It was about gaining a seat at the table where new rules and norms were being shaped. It was also a powerful statement to the world. Turkey would chart its own independent course, bridging Europe and Asia, and asserting its unique identity as a crossroads of civilizations and a regional power in its own right. The economic and political incentives for this pivot were clear, promising new growth and influence, but the risks were equally significant, as Turkey would have to navigate complex dynamics both at home and within the BRICS group. Turkey's eastward pivot was bold and ambitious, but it would soon discover that joining BRICS came with its own set of challenges and obstacles, some of which would test Ankara's resolve and diplomatic skill in unexpected ways. Turkey's BRICS ambitions quickly ran into resistance, especially from India. India, wary of admitting a NATO member, saw Turkey's Western ties as a fundamental conflict of interest. Tensions escalated after India accused Turkey of supporting Pakistan in Kashmir, turning skepticism into outright opposition. India responded with economic measures against Turkish companies, signaling the high cost of Ankara's alignment with Pakistan. China, while open to expanding BRICS, was cautious about Turkey's unpredictable ties with both the West and regional rivals. For Beijing, new members should not be deeply entangled with Western security structures. The combined opposition from India and China effectively blocked Turkey's path to full BRICS membership. The episode revealed the internal divisions and strategic calculations shaping the bloc's future. As Turkey weighed its BRICS ambitions, the looming prospect of a second Trump presidency added new risks. Trump's America First stance treats BRICS as a direct competitor, threatening harsh tariffs and economic retaliation against countries aligning with the bloc. For Turkey, deeply integrated with Western markets, the threat of U.S. sanctions was a powerful deterrent. The possibility of a trade war or punitive tariffs forced Ankara to reconsider the costs of pivoting too far from its Western allies. Turkey's desire for autonomy clashed with the reality of its economic vulnerabilities. The external pressure from Washington played a crucial role in Ankara's decision to proceed cautiously. With full membership blocked, Turkey was offered partner country status, a halfway link to BRICS without real influence. For Ankara, this echoed the EU's privileged partnership offer, which it had long rejected as second class. The proposal was met with silence and disappointment. Turkey skipped the 2024 BRICS summit, signaling its discontent. The partner status, meant as a bridge, felt more like a barrier, confirming that Ankara wanted full membership or nothing. Turkey's BRICS ambition stalled, caught between internal opposition and an unappealing compromise. The episode underscored the complexities of forging new alliances in a multipolar world. Strategic autonomy proved difficult to achieve amid high entry barriers and old loyalties. Turkey found itself in familiar territory between alliances, but not fully at home in any. Turkey isn't alone. Across Europe, countries are quietly engaging with BRICS, driven by economic interests and shifting power dynamics. While these moves often happen behind closed doors, the motivations are clear: access to new markets, energy security, and a desire to hedge bets in an uncertain global order. The rise of BRICS is prompting European policymakers to rethink old assumptions and explore new partnerships, even as they tread carefully to avoid alienating traditional allies. No EU member has formally sought to join, but nations like Hungary have deepened ties with Russia and China, diverging from EU consensus. This divergence is not just political, it's also economic, as countries seek to attract investment and secure energy deals that might be harder to obtain within the EU framework. European corporations remain heavily invested in BRICS markets, especially in China, shaping foreign policy behind the scenes. Major industries, from automotive to luxury goods, rely on these relationships for growth, making economic engagement with BRICS not just a choice, but a necessity for many European businesses. This economic reality forces European governments to balance transatlantic loyalties with practical engagement in the East. The pressure to maintain strong ties with the United States and NATO is ever present, yet the lure of BRICS markets and resources is undeniable. The result is a nuanced, sometimes contradictory approach, cooperating on trade and climate, competing on technology and influence. Europe finds itself both a partner and a rival to BRICS, navigating a complex web of interests that often overlap and sometimes collide. Europe's dilemma is clear: caught between historic alliances and the gravitational pull of BRICS, the continent must weigh its values and security commitments against the opportunities and challenges presented by a rapidly changing global landscape. Most EU nations remain committed to the West, but can't ignore the bloc's growing influence. As BRICS expands its reach, European leaders are increasingly present at summits and forums, signaling a willingness to engage, even if only cautiously. The continent's future will be defined by this delicate balancing act in a multipolar world where flexibility, pragmatism, and strategic foresight will be essential for navigating the challenges and opportunities ahead. Turkey's failed BRICS bid is a microcosm of the world's shifting alliances. The episode highlights the rise of BRICS as a challenger to Western dominance, but also the bloc's internal divisions and strategic limits. As nations seek greater autonomy, the path to a multipolar world is proving complex and contested. The old certainties of the Cold War are gone, replaced by overlapping partnerships and transactional relationships. Countries like Turkey will continue to hedge, balancing between power centers, rather than choosing sides. The US, especially under a more assertive administration, will remain a key player, its influence shaping the choices of nations worldwide. Turkey's journey may be a preview of the uncertain, intricate path many countries will navigate as global power continues to shift.